Okay, guys, we're gonna do the last part of the reading. I realized I could have just chopped it off here. I don't know why I included this part, but let's not worry about that. Okay, so this is gonna be the last part of the joint reading and markup. We're gonna go ahead and circle this part. Again, the circling here does not mean premise indicator, conclusion indicator, or example. We're just highlighting the gist of what is explained here. So it says the fundamental truths about the world can be known a priori. They are either innate or self-evident to our minds. So we're going to go ahead and do a triangle not filled in because another theory thinks we can have fundamental truths, just the route or source is different. Then, of course, we want to put a triangle over what word next here? Over known. Go ahead and put a triangle over the word known, but don't fill it in. And then put a triangle right here, fill it in, and then let's draw branches. Okay. Now, another thing that I want you to put a filled in triangle over is the word innate. Put a filled in triangle over the word innate. Put a filled in triangle over the two words self-evident and draw a branch to each word there. And that's it. Pause the video if you need to replay this or catch up. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the notion of an innate idea. Okay, guys. So innate ideas are ideas that are inborn. So we're going to go ahead and put a triangle filled in with branches. Ideas are things that are, of course, of interest to everyone. And there's this idea of something being, the very idea of something being inborn is an idea, right? So it says they are ideas or principles that the mind already contains prior to experience, okay? So I want us to underline the mind already contains prior to experience. And I want us to say, put up here, no, not right here. Let's actually underline that and right here put things that the mind already has, that the mind already contains prior to experience. And again, what is meant by experience here? Sensory experience. I want you to remember that throughout the lessons in epistemology. The author does not do a good job explaining or iterating that in the Smart Book. Okay, so what I don't like about this definition, of course, is that the word ideas is being used to shed light on part of the sign. That's why I'm going to say that the official definition for innate ideas for us is going to be things that the mind already contains prior to experience. All right, you can think of them, those things, as what? Ideas. Okay, so in other words, we are born with these. Okay, they are with us when we come into being, which raises all kinds of questions, but we'll get into that. So moving on, it says the notion of innate ideas is commonly found in rationalistic philosophies, but is rejected by the empiricist. So we'll get into the empiricism later as to why they reject that. But for right now, we're going to do the triangle with branches right here. The theory of innate ideas, so I want you to do a triangle filled in with branches right here, views the mind like a computer that comes from a factory with numerous programs already loaded on its disk, waiting to be activated. Have you ever gotten a brand new computer or a brand new phone or a brand new iPad? It might have some things, but there's a lot of things that it doesn't have. And when you initially create a computer, when a phone is initially manufactured, it doesn't necessarily have anything. It just has the material bits. Okay. Oh, what word do we see again? The word hence. So we know a conclusion is being drawn on behalf of the rationalist, okay? So rationalists say that such ideas, which kind of ideas? Innate ideas, as the laws of logic, the concept of justice, and the idea of God are already contained deep within the mind and only need to be brought to the level of consciousness or awareness. This is a very important point, so let's go ahead and underline that. Now, do all rationalists necessarily believe the word God refers to something real? No, not necessarily, but a lot of them do. And so we know that the conclusion isn't really about, I conclude that this is what the rationalists think. it's the authors saying this is a conclusion that the rationalist draws based on what? Their definition, their concept of an innate idea. So again, see how all the lessons from Unit 1 and Unit 2 now are coming together. So they have some definition of an innate idea, and they have some prior claims and arguments for how not everything that can be known as true can be empirically derived, that is from sensory experiences. And so on behalf of the rationalist, based on a definition of innate ideas, we've got a conclusion being drawn on behalf of the rationalist, okay? And there's two. It's kind of like it's kind of like a two-part conclusion, if you will. It's at this point. So so innate ideas. There's examples here actually. So we've got the sign. Okay, so this is a sign. So right here, I want you to draw an arrow and write sign. Even though we had other signs, I really want to break this down in terms of the concept. So this is the sign. Write sign right here. This is going to be the definition that we use for innate ideas. So I want you to write official, and then you can just put DEF period and know that that means definition. And then here, I want you to write examples for what? The sign innate ideas given this definition. If you need to rewind the video, replay it, or whatnot, go ahead and do so to include that information. So of course, then we're going to do this. Innate ideas should not be confused with instinct. A lot of students make this mistake. Instinct is totally different. The concept of instinct is a different concept from innate ideas. It's saying instinct is a non-cognitive set of mechanical behavior mechanical behavior such as blinking of the eyes when an object approaches them. Okay, so instinct is a different concept. That word sign has a different definition and domain. When we're talking about innate ideas, we're talking about cognition, and think about what we went over with respect to examples of cognitive task and what it means for something, what it means to say that something involves cognition from our lesson on intellectual perseverance. You might want to go and look at those text boxes. Okay, so this would make a really good multiple choice or true false item or extra credit question. Okay, so this lesson's a little bit longer, so I'm going to start a new video.